like 100% sure we've seen that expression on Jumpahh's face literally every time we've looked at it.
That's
right?
yeah, that's just Jumpahhh. That's what he does, man. You know, that's not anything different. Yeah, that's his natural resting state. You know what I mean?
When he was watching to see if he was gonna go to Worlds or not, that was his face. Right?
That was
for like 50 minutes.
Statuesque.
So that's just where he's at. So a little bit stoic here for the jungler Revenge. There I see him, or for Flash rather. See him cracking a smile as his team moves into picks and bans for Game 2. I know they certainly expect to be doing a little bit better than they've shown so far, and this is their chance to show it. With a clean 2-0 win over Revenge, I think you can move up to face whoever drops down from the upper bracket feeling a little bit more confident. But if this ends up being a struggle, or even if they lose, there's no way for I think for you to feel confident going into Rival or Astral. They really need to look dominant.
Yeah, agreed. And so it's important that they keep this momentum rolling. And if I'm Revenge in order to stop that momentum, I agree with Tolly and with F-Dot. I'm banning Susano away. They banned Zhonghui and Artemis in Game 1. Flashpoint is taking care of Zhonghui for them. I don't know about the Chernobog bans. Sure, Chernobog's good. I think I'd rather let the Hunter try and test the limits. I mean, Gino looked pretty good in that game. And Hunters just have less impact right now on the meta than junglers do. So
yes.
Even if it's a better pick than the Susano, the chances of a Chernobog matching the impact that Susano had in Game 1 is very slim.
Well, the Khepri gets banned out again. This has kind of been the North American strat here, at least what we've seen so far, to run this Khepri in the support position. Not only because it's working well, but because they don't give away any additional information. Now that that card is sort of face up, you might as well keep playing it as the Artemis comes through. But remember, last time this enabled the Giannis to go through, and it really felt underwhelming from LingXiao, that Giannis play there in Game 1.
Yes, certainly struggled. So Revenge have the opportunity to take it again. Flashpoint says, go for it. You know,
why not? Yeah.
Run that back. We don't mind. We will take Artemis first pick. That was banned by Revenge in Game 1. They also, Flashpoint didn't get a chance to play with the Artemis. They had to play against it in both of their games against Rival, so now Checo gets his own shot at that pick.
And remember, he played that AMC and built it rather traditionally.
Yes.
Didn't he? He did not go, any leaning into the ability at all. It was basically just your typical crit build, which will not be any trouble transitioning into the Artemis playing very similarly. So even though he played the Amuzin Cobb, he's still an immobile hunter who likes to crit you, so he should be very comfortable making that transition.
Now you've got a chance to take some picks off the board here for Revenge. Giannis on the table, as we mentioned. Susano's still open. I wonder if that's where they're going to go, try and give that to Mango, though he has had kind of an eclectic god pool so far. The Habwa, the Hercules that we just saw, the Aokwang. That's what he's played so far today. So nothing super traditional. Habwa probably the most traditional of those three selections, at least in today's meta. So we'll see if he wants to go back to something weird like that or try and get it back to normalcy. We'll have to wait and see, because they take Chulainn and Hui.
I like these picks here coming out there. Nice rhyming, by the way. It's Chulainn.
Yeah, that was good, right?
Very strong. Oh, calm down. Very strong solo laner in his own right. Tons of pressure that you can grab right away to try and get Gnome off to a good start if that is where he wants to put it. Hui is going to be the selection for the Hunter role. I feel like we see a little bit less Hui than we used to. Certainly still strong in the boxing. Has a nice big team fighting ultimate. It can be relatively safe with the dive bomb, but fallen a little bit out of favor perhaps.
Yeah, I do think that it's good into the Artemis because of his passive, where he can only get crit once in a certain amount of time, and that's very good against Artemis, specifically in the early game, so that you know it won't start to really get bad against you. Getting crit once sucks, but you can deal with it. It's when you get crit 2 or 3 times that you feel like you've lost the lane. Because of it, Hui passive prevents that. It does feel a little bit early for this selection in my mind. I think the Medusa is being a little bit undervalued right now overall. It got picked once today and did okay. I think that Medusa, though, is one of the premier hunters right now, and I'm surprised we haven't seen more of her yet.
Scylla is going to come out. Looked like they thought about the Raw there for a moment, but instead going to go with Scylla, which we don't see a ton of lately either. So some picks here from Revenge that certainly are not weak, but just we don't see them nearly as often. Scylla feels very much like the big burst mage, wants to be able to get those ranks up in her abilities, so she's getting the most damage out of them. So it's a ton of burst. Is the setup going to be there, though, is the question. They haven't drafted a ton of it yet.
No, basically none of it so far. So we'll see where their support pick is going to go, and their jungler selection as Susano. Banned by Revenge. We were asking for it, and we got it. It just was a little bit later than I think I was expecting. Surprised the Flashpoint go for Terra right away, but clearly prioritizing that duo lane for Flashpoint. It's had a lot of success. They clearly wanted to continue to have success, as they've been picking their gods very early on in that dual lane. And Matt Koiz just a Terra main and has been forever, so makes sense.
Yeah, make sure you get him on that comfort pick. But I mean, to be fair to Flashpoint, you know, Delnyy and Jumpahhh have kind of been, I would say, overall the most consistent parts of this team. I mean, not just in terms of playing together, but also in performance. So they can probably more comfortably wait a little bit longer on their picks. As you said, make sure Panda mid, Michael Checo, Matt Koiz are on the picks that they want, and they can move in comfortably into the rest of the game. We said setup. Well, it's hard to get more setup than a Kumbhakarna. I mean, that dude has a ton of control.
Yeah, and really, really good for the Scylla setup. I love it. That is a locked-in Thor there for Jumpahhh. Apologies for the little bit of a lighter card there, but I'm surprised that he goes to the Thor. Kumbhakarna is like the last god I want to play Thor into. I
Right.
mean, you can't get off your Berserker's Barrage. You can't get off your Hammer Teleport consistently. He can stop you in your tracks very, very easily. I'm very surprised this is where Jumpahhh is going. I really was expecting a Ratatosker. He loves that selection. Maybe even a Nemesis. Serqet was open. There were a lot of picks on the table here for Jumpahhh that I think would have been a little bit better into this Kumbhakarna.
Yeah, the Ratatosker has been a little bit undervalued, I feel like, here so far in this tournament as well. A very strong pick in his own right. But now this Serqet coming out for revenge. This could be very strong into the Hercules, into the immobile Artemis. Maybe some trouble with Poseidon when she kind of locked herself in place at the last breath. Kraken could say hello. But revenge so far, I'm liking this composition from them.
Yeah, I think that this might be a really good setup comp for this Scylla. I think Serqet, usually not thought of as a great setup jungler, but really can be in a lot of ways. I mean, that Cobra's Kiss is such a good setup ability, and then Last Breath can fit that bill as well. I really like Revenge's composition. They've got good team fight, they've got good early game, good late game with the Scylla and the Hu Yi, and I really honestly like their composition more than Flashpoint's right now. I just wonder if Flashpoint's outright mechanical skill and competitive experience is going to really be the differentiating factor.
Yeah, that could certainly be the difference maker more than these compositions really than anything here, Ryan. But it's a lot of pressure, I feel like, that this draft puts onto LingXiaoWho. You know, if this is Baronic or Fly, you know, you're like, yeah, this is going to work every single time, and you feel 100% comfortable. But LingXiaoWho hasn't shown us that consistency yet, where maybe you want to draft entirely around him. Now, with this much setup, and I trust LingXiaoWho is capable to follow through, but just maybe not at the level of some of these other mid-mages.
Yeah, that's fair. He did have a very good online split in the summer where he was playing setup characters and being that follow-up and doing very well in that role. It's maybe this just different environment, you know, the land might be getting to him a little bit.
And he did play the Scylla online too. It was something he was comfortable on, yes.
Yeah, so I think this composition can work out for Revenge. I do wonder, you know, let's say theoretically Flashpoint end up taking this set, whether it's in this game or in a game 3. Panda mid, his best performance by far today has been on Poseidon. That was in the last game. And then they go straight back to it and prioritize it very early on. I don't think Poseidon is necessarily the best god to pick all the time very early on in the mid lane, but one that Panda mid is clearly becoming more and more comfortable with. If I'm playing up against Flashpoint in the future, I might be trying to ban Poseidon or take it away to force Panda mid back onto a pick that he hasn't performed quite as well with so far.
Yeah, especially now that Odin's kind of receding back a little bit, right? Suddenly that could come through in the 4th and 5th pick and maybe cause problems for that Poseidon. We'll end up having to see if it is Flashpoint that makes it through. But I want to see, who do you all think is going to win this game? Go ahead and vote for us now in the Mixer poll. Should be right there for you above the chat. So go ahead and click on it and let us know what you're thinking. Got a little bit better there in that last game, but I'm still keeping my eye on you. I want to make sure y'all are in line.
44% had Revenge, if I remember correctly, and that was Revenge's best performance, I'd say.
Yes. So
far, definitely put up a pretty good fight. Flashpoint still needs to work on their decision-making a little bit, kind of let Revenge back in the door a little bit with their over-aggressive play after taking the mid-Phoenix. But overall, I think that Flashpoint still needs to have a pretty dominating showing here in Game 2 if they want to gain some momentum going into tomorrow.
Yeah, and it wasn't just like them going a little. It is them going too far into to try and get the end, because that's what sets up the opportunity. But the fight just beyond the Fire Giant that kind of ends the game, Gino was in a position almost to really run that fight and kind of ruin Flashpoint's opportunities there. But a couple shots off the mark. Checo just a tiny bit better. Gino kind of has to fight through a lot to get it done. So I agree with you. The door was clearly open for Revenge. They almost were able to step through, but Flashpoint just a little bit too far ahead at that point. If they make a similar mistake in judgment earlier on in the game, when it's not already so far gone in their favor, And then Revenge clearly showing that they're willing to step up and take the shot.
We've already discussed how Revenge is all about setting up for the Scylla and then the follow-up from Scylla and from getting the job done. But
yes.
Flashpoint's composition is all about CC chains. I mean, it's you want a driving strike from Hercules into a crushing wall from Terra into a tectonic rift from Thor, and no one survives that CC chain. All followed up by a trap from Artemis or Kraken from Poseidon. But that's where this Kumbhakarna gets even better, because Kumbha can easily mez or root away some of this potential follow-up that will be coming from a distance. It's particularly from Thor and from Terra and from Artemis. They're going to have to walk past this Kumbhakarna, and that's where Xuen really needs to make an impact in this game. Not necessarily standing right on top of whoever's getting CC'd, because then he'll just get Kraken alongside them, but instead push forward. As soon as he sees his back line start to get jumped on, push forward a little bit, mez out, epic uppercut, the follow-up damage and the follow-up CC, and that's where he'll be difficult to deal with.
Gotta make sure they keep their eyes forward as Flashpoint look like they're getting a little bit more favored here this time around, and I think that's fair after their Game 1 performance to have earned a little bit more confidence there from LingXiaoWho. Revenge still getting some support. Over a quarter of those out there think they can get this game and make it happen. They're going to have a tough task, though. We haven't talked too much about this Serqet specifically into this Poseidon. I already said Last Breath could potentially bait her out too, but even to find some trouble, to find some deathbanes and some ambushes with this cripple field, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity for this Poseidon to really slow them down, as Coop apparently having a really good time.
Doing a little bit of a wave.
Yeah.
I was kind of all about that.
I've literally never seen Coop that joyful except when the lightning went.
Wow, so you don't see that very often?
No, rarely.
Yeah, it's a tough life for young man Cooper these days. But Serqet kind of has been forgotten about. I mean, I don't think picked or banned at all so far this tournament. So you have a good opportunity to show that this is a pick that you have to worry about now. Even if Flashpoint end up taking this game, if Revenge could show off that Serqet, Mango has a good performance, then other teams might be like, oh yeah, Serqet's really good. We should pick that sometimes.
No, I think that Serqet's sort of kind of fallen out of the pool here, at least on console so far. Or we can say boxing out some PS4 boys coming out here soon in fall, right? So I think it has fallen a little bit out of favor, but I agree. Kind of just putting this back into everyone's minds because, and Hindu and I were having this discussion about the viability of certain gods, right? Very few are bad, but so many are good, So
yes.
That's kind of what you're giving up sometimes when you make these picks. So yes, this Serqet kind of falls out sometimes because there's so many good picks. If they can just sort of remind them, put it back in everyone's mind, we might see more of it just depending on this performance.
Definitely has that potential. I mean, I expect to see plenty of Serqet throughout this week and next week with the PC land coming through. With guys of that talent level, especially here on even during the console land and next week as well. Serqet just allows you to make so many plays. I mean, you have great opportunities to make game-changing plays in the early, mid, and late game with this character. She kills tanks, she kills squishies, she has great CC, she's got great mobility. She basically does everything you need an assassin to do. Her team fight can be lackluster in the late game. It can be difficult to get off your damage in the later stages without yourself getting killed, but if you can blink into the back and Cobra's Kiss mid and ADC at the same time, that fight is over, basically, right away.
Almost certainly Serqet's able to get that pulled off. So we'll see if they can find that impact here. I'm going to be looking towards Koiz from Flashpoint to sort of be that big factor for them because they do have good control from Poseidon and from the Thor as well. But I'm really looking a lot towards Koiz to be able to find the roots, to be able to find these walls, to try and stop this Serqet from weaving through the fights the way they want to not let Scylla get out with the Sentinel right away, right? Any kind of lockdown they can get to try and punish this squad, I feel like is going to heavily rely around Koiz.
That has to be the guy. I mean, we've already talked about how much CC is here. You have in the jungle for Jumpahhh, Thor can bring that disruptive CC.
Yeah.
Hercules there for Delnyy, but you're right. I mean, Koiz is going to be the one. And that's where this Serqet pick gets even better for me because a lot of that peel is going to come via Earth and Fury, which is a great heal over time, and a burst heal whenever you pop those stones. So Serqet will shut all of that down with Last Breath. Artemis as well can have trouble against Serqet at times because it's so easy for that gap to be closed by the assassin and get right up in Artemis's face, where once you're there, if she doesn't have Caledonian Boar, you're kind of dead to rights unless you hit a nutty trap. So I'm interested to see how Checo and Koiz are going to deal with this Serqet, and honestly, Kumbhakarna, who can really be a kill lane
Yes.
in the early game.
It can absolutely be some aggression, only with a couple abilities, depending on what it is that they want to try and prioritize on that Hou-Yi. But, I mean, even level 1, I mean, just a Groggy Strike by itself from Kumbhakarna can really feel kind of oppressive. You can't walk up maybe as much as you normally would without getting rooted and taking free damage. So that's going to be a big problem there for Flash, whether or not they can deal with that early control that ends up coming out from them. But not just Kumbhakarna, I like Serqet's pre-level 5 as well. I mean, Cobra's Kiss is good setup into Deathbane. I mean, it's insane. You don't even necessarily need the ultimate like a lot of other junglers do. Serqet can kind of just start rocking and rolling.
Serqet is a good god, is what you're telling me?
Yes. I'm going out on a limb and saying that. It's very brave.
Wow. Congratulations for getting the courage to work that one up. You know what? Since you're going to go out on a limb, Finch, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you. Yeah, I think Serqet is also a good god.
It's slightly less brave because I've already done it, but it's still pretty brave.
It's more about like standing with my co-caster here. You know what I mean? To make sure that you aren't just out on a limb all by yourself.
I find myself very much appreciating having your support out here on the world's thickest limb, by the way, because everyone knows Serqet's very good. But that's going to do it here for the picks and Van Face. Sounds like we are just about ready to move into game. Again, it's going to be F. and Anatoly bringing you the call.
Thanks a lot, friends. Flashpoint trying to close this one out here. And Revenge clinging on to their LAN hopes and dreams. Jumpahhh will be playing on the Thor this time around. Panda mid, as Aggro said. Most of its success has come on the Poseidon, so do it again.
A very traditional draft from Flashpoint, minus the Terra. Back in like Season 1 in 2 days, you would definitely see Thor, Hercules between solo jungle, a little bit of Poseidon to follow up from that global pressure and even that long-range tectonic rift stun. You can't really go wrong with Thor, clearly the way Layers played it earlier today.
I mean, Thor is a character that I think always really has a spot. The guys are talking about, there are very few bad characters and just a lot of good ones. And I think Thor is a guy that always can be talked about. I mean, his ability to put out damage is there, but also his control is there. He can initiate, he can end the fight. I really like where Thor's at right now, and Jumpahhh going to agree with what Layers has been saying. That Thor is a go-to selection for the jungle.
Doesn't matter whether or not he has a Zeus. No, electing to pick it after secondary ban phase. It was Flashpoint that were more interested in their dual lane combination. Getting the Artemis first pick, pairing it up with the Terra for a little bit of control and team fight prowess. But then the Poseidon coming from Panda mid is just something that he's very comfortable with, it seems, in this land.
So Flashpoint here going to relinquish the first wave to the tower, and instead try to prioritize the buffs around the duo lane. Checo and Koiz both winding up with the red buff and the purple, respectively. Revenge will have a little bit more experience than them, but Flashpoint ready to go.
It's actually Checo getting level 2 first because of the lane clear pressure. By giving up the first wave, you're still absorbing the experience of the first wave while you're doing the purple
wall,
buff.
right.
You got to position your character model all the way inside the purple buff cove. That's exactly what Koiz and Checo did. And now they have the pressure with Checo having this red buff.
I like what Gino's doing. He's getting the ricochet on the opposition. They're going to go aggressive. Checo on the run. XuenMushh. First blood for Revenge.
It just didn't seem that Revenge cared at all about the wave. It was clear that Checo was the primary target. Gino on the side of the wave was clearly firing down the shots down that side. Checo did use the archers as a crutch to kind of lean behind them to absorb some of those basic attacks and gets punished.
Nice ricochet coming out from the front. There's that level 2 gank. Beads already used by Panda mid, level 3, excuse me. More importantly, not level 5 is the big deal. Looking for the gank before that. Ultimate ability online, certainly a nice look for some of these junglers.
And this is a great start for Revenge. If there's anyone you want to shut down from Flashpoint, it's either going to be Jumpahhh playing the Thor that has plenty of global pressure, or the late game Artemis carry from Checo. So this gives a lot of pressure for Revenge in the duel lane, and there's no beads on this Artemis.
Oh, the double bounce is good on Checo. So is everything else. Gino finds the kill. The duel lane for Revenge 2-0. In so many minutes.
Even though the first blood did go to Mush, the second kill goes to Gino, and it still shuts down Checo, which separates that golden experience gap. It's a race to level 5 to level 12. These are your two first like little markers in the race of hunters. Who gets their ultimate first, who gets the second relic first, and that's when you're looking for more plays. The fact that Revenge already has 2 plays under their belt is going to just lead them to more success in the mid game.
You can see this. We talk about the stuff after the stuff, and it's usually the kills into the big boy objectives. But just taking that double kill and pushing it into the enemy purple buff, a wonderful look so far for Revenge. Certainly a turnaround from game number 1 where they were behind the 8 ball.
It's also interesting to see the fact that Artemis is still getting prioritized this early in the draft, considering that the passive changed in 5.13 a little bit, where you're no longer getting the passive crits. Instead, you're getting more basic attack damage for players that are getting a little bit of extra CC'd.
Well, Delnyy right here on the Hercules, a little bit of a change. He's going to be playing the character that's been giving him a lot of issues here. Across the way, rival Gnome on the Chulainn. Very aggressive lane here. And now Jumpahhh looking to turn things around. Gino caught in the middle of everything. Jump over, go to the right, avoid the stun, avoid the double tap, trying to find a support player.
Shell.
Nice shell! Is it enough? The answer seems to be no.
Checo getting revenge onto Gino, responding for the first kill at a Flashpoint. Great rotation from Jumpahhh, and during the dive bomb jump from Gino, everyone just kind of scattered to cover every single option. Gino tried to juke for as long as he humanly can, but eventually, ultimately fell. Despite a beautiful shell from Mush. He was only level 4. He didn't have that epic uppercut to buy his hunter an extra moment.
Yeah, that was really promising, though, because Revenge, they obviously die right there, but looking forward to the rest of the engagements, I mean, that's how you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to bide your time and see if your teammates are going to show up and help you out. Pre-level 5, not so much. Post-ultimates, totally like you mentioned, I think that fight goes a different direction, so Revenge certainly getting ready to be a little bit better in the mid-game.
Trying to make the plays happen after losing their hunter 2 times is going to be reliant on Jumpahhh. Whether he finds the kills or plays setup man, that's the use of the global pressure. Didn't even need to really use that Anvil of Dawn. He's just being mindful about where the weaknesses are and how to plug those holes.
Another purple buff invade from Revenge, despite Flashpoint's answer back on the left side of the map. Still unable to do much of anything. Delnyy, unsuccessful invade on the blue buff. But here comes Xuen and Mango wrapping around onto Matt Koiz.
Trying to make it happen. Matt Koiz with the Earth and Fury, but the board comes out defensively. There goes the last breath, applies damage over time, gets the basic attack, but Anvil of Dawn is waiting.
There he comes down. Here comes the Kraken. One could be in trouble. Mango down south. Gets the wall is good, but he's going to be able to wiggle on out until the Zerker comes out. And what looked like a great setup for Revenge gets turned on its head. Delnyy can't confirm the kill.
He wants it so badly. He's been getting rocked by a lot of these Hercules, and now it's this time for him to start rolling with the pick. If you can't beat him, join him.
Two to two so far. Our Flashpoint has been able to respond. Last game, it was up to Revenge to respond. Revenge making the first move, the second move, and then Flashpoint slowly catching on up. Team separated by pretty much just that first blood bounty, Tony.
It's going to be too early to tell. Like, even with a 2-0 lead, you're shutting down Michael Checo, sure, but you can't give anything in return to Flashpoint. They have plenty of talent in plenty of land situations. You heard Matt Koiz before in the pregame interview where he's very confident. So if you give them that kind of confidence to go forward, they're going to make you punish, and that's what Jumpahhh is looking for with some of these Anvil of Dawns. Perfectly timed double stun to prevent the secured kill from Mango, even turning it on his head to kill the Serqet.
Delnyy just barely missing the push underneath the tower. His blue buff gets invaded, doesn't find the stun. Beats are good, though. Here comes the Anvil of Dawn, and no beads means no life for Mango. Jumpahhh. Kill number 3 for Flashpoint.
What a turnaround. Giving up the blue buff there. The very important play coming through Delnyy to force the beats between Mango, because if he still has the beads there, then he gets away from Jumpahhh, being able to survive while still stripping away the blue buff.
Scylla's in the ultimate already. Where's the root? Doesn't need it. Michael Checo gets hit, but it won't be a kill. Matt Koiz gets one, but LingXiao turns around. 1-1 so far.
Both hunters taking a little spill as the fight resets in the duel lane. Meanwhile, Gnome getting bullied out in the solo. Delnyy with about a half-level lead, going for the silver breastplate as opposed to either the void shield or potentially the gladiators. He's looking for the mid game as opposed to the early mid.
I loved how LingXiao made that rotation, went into the ultimate, expecting the crowd control, was able to hit the target, didn't wind up with the kill for the reset, but that's, I like that totally. A lot of times you see these Scylla players kind of holding it for the dreamboat play,
Sure.
and you're not always on the dreamboat. So going for the damage just raw, getting the kill there, most important with the rotation, Scylla 1-0-0.
And also, while you're in the Scylla ultimate, you get an extra boost of movement speed, allowing you to get to the action sooner. Relying on it for the execute to reset is all fine and dandy, but the initial damage is just good enough. So that mobility, very fruitful when looking for those side lane ganks.
Yeah, when you talk about Scylla ult, it's not like they took damage off of the ultimate so that she could reset. They just added the reset on top of it. You're scaling at 120%, which is very nice for the Book of Thoth penetration boost rush that we're seeing out of LingXiao. So just wonderful, wonderful choice there coming out from the level 10 mid laner. This is what made LingXiao so powerful on the online split. Has been unable to translate that here to land live. These are the looks you want to see.
Checo in a little bit of trouble, drops down the Suns, but lands on the board. It's Gino on the retreat now. Matt Koiz, no mana to follow up.
Panda mid takes care of Mango. There's a Scylla ultimate, missed on this one. And Jumpahhh able to wiggle to safety.
Oh, Delnyy wants this in the solo lane. He gets the driving strike, but a good timed ultimate from Gnome. Needs to pull just a hair too short.
Delnyy just coming up short almost every time. Not going to be able to find the kill here. But he's certainly getting control of the lane.
Oh, Checo in a 1v1 against Gino. It's so scary keeping your back towards the ocean in the duel lane because of that bounce.
Well, here comes Jumpahhh, lands right down. Perfect spot. Checo gets the last basic. Credit to Gino, looking for the solo kill. Doesn't get the double bounce and immediately backs off. Credit to Gino for not taking the aggressive play there totally, but Jumpahhh just waiting exactly where he needed to be.
And Gino had 13 seconds remaining on his beats during that Thor gank. Couldn't really get out of there. Still, Jumpahhh was covering the option by holding onto his hammer, just wanted to get off some more damage over time with the Berserker barrage. And I was going to mention how Delnyy, despite being that aggressive onto Gnome without finding the kill, there was still about 100 seconds or so in that teleport, so by missing a few minions here, a few minions there, the tower for Revenge's tier 1 solo lane not looking very healthy.
XuenMushh not looking very healthy either. Nice wall coming out from the jungler. Scylla going to provide a little bit of help. Root doesn't find a target, but it prevents anybody from following up. And I really, really, really want to highlight that, Toli. He doesn't shoot the root at a target. He shoots the root at the pathway to the support player. So if you were to chase down that Kumbhakarna, that's when you were to get rooted. That true zoning ability, not a missed ability in my opinion. Yeah. And I really, that's a smart play.
That's just a mid-max play. Matt Koiz forcing the jump from Gino, but didn't have the gap just to apply the root. Gino looking for the ricochet bounce, still wanting to trade out with this Artemis.
Gino's been the guy that we saw in the interview. He's been all about these swag plays. He's been all about just trying to kind of, I don't want to say show off, but sort of assert his dominance. And he's been doing it. He's been getting the solo kills. He's been getting the impressive stuff. Delnyy right now in a ton of trouble, Toli. I don't know if he survives here.
He's not going to, but the return kill could be the case, but Jumpahhh only lands onto Gnome. His primary target was Mango.
Able to get out of there. Good thing that Jumpahhh doesn't wind up being kill number 2. Blue buff down, so no invade. Oracles go to Flashpoint. Very important timing as well. 12.5 might be time for Gold Fury, but now they have vision.
Trying to make a play happen, dropping the Suns as Gino zoning them away, but Panda mid zoning out LingXiao, even using that I'm a monster to get the 35% movement speed for a safe escape.
Yeah, just zooming on out of there in the mid lane. Scylla, one level down, comparatively speaking, to Panda mid. And as we end our 12th minute, we've got 10 kills, Flashpoint leading in that area, but a tie game in almost all other categories, totally. And here comes the Gold Fury pull, which I think is more of a bait. There's the ultimate from Artemis. There's the Whirlpool. Terra helps out. No Kraken.
Oh, but the Thor actually ping-pongs towards Gino. He forces a dive bomb away. There goes Mush. Next target is going to be Gnome. He's crippled for the moment. Has to salmon leap over the top. And there goes a nice stun and follow-up from Jumpahhh.
LingXiaoWho to form Mango up on top. Gnome in trouble down here, down south. Jumpahhh trying to find the basic and will. 3 kills without a death for the young jungler.
A 2-for-0 Flashpoint. Could look for the Gold Fury if they really want, but the health not in their favor. Koiz only level 9. Doesn't have the monolith maxed out to the point where he wants to sustain his team. So rather play it safe than sorry with these short respawn timers.
Monolith only level 2 so far, so very little amount of healing that will go up as the game continues to progress. Likely going to be the number 2 ability to put points into. Over the ultimate, question mark, Jolie?
You normally want to max out the ultimate over the heal, like if you have the opportunity to, simply because of the extra damage you're reducing, the extra damage you're gaining as well. There's so many, it's not necessarily a bloated ability, but it just does a lot of stuff that you can't ignore.
XuenMushh showing up. We'll just get rid of some wars real quick. Gold Fury leashed. And everybody's going to be backing to base. But if everybody's going to be backing to base, Dolly, then Revenge are going to be the ones starting up the Gold Fury. Already brought it down to 50%. XuenMushh playing goalie. And Revenge are letting this one go. I understand because Jumpahhh uses the ultimate.
Oh,
but they're
no.
looking for the fight. No, you should have went away.
Oh no, but that was a perfect stunt to prevent any follow-up. Amamatsu is off the mark, but Jumpahhh is not.
Panda mid, Aegis in the Suns, slowly walking away. Gino and XuenMushh on the run. Here comes Revenge, and Jumpahhh finds another kill.
Bait did not work in Revenge's favor. Delnyy just bullying Gnome under the tier 1 mid, dancing right in front of the tower line. Flashpoint winning what was a 2-on-4 because Panda mid wasn't there initially, and I believe also Koiz not originally. So it was all of Anvil of Dawn and the Boar to buy time for the other 2 teammates to make that happen.
What I think should have happened there, Totally, is that as soon as Thor went up, Revenge full retreat.
Sure.
Just walk away, get out of Artemis range, just walk away.
And the problem is, Mush on the Kumbhakarna is sitting with 16 stacks of this Gauntlet of Thebes. You're forcing team fights before you get a really great team fighting item completed. Not the play.
Delnyy a little bit too deep. He's gonna look to Gnome, can't find it, and one more time, punished by Mango.
Between a rock and a hard place. Nowhere for him to go under that one. And you can have all the physical defense you want in the world, but that last breath doing true damage will just melt through any protections.
Kills everybody. Oh, yeah, pick that one up, Jumpahhh. You're gonna want that speed buff. 5-0-4 for the Jungle Thor right now. Lower level than the 1-3-1 Serqet. And he's gonna bring it right to him. Lands on top, spin to win. Where's the stun? Not gonna be there, the basic will.
Jumpahhh feeling it.
Kills.
Jumpahhh feeling it. A lot of Thors would look for the stun, but no, he's holding on to that bad boy in case there's even more distance being separated. Mango really wanted that extra 500 gold, paying for it with his life, and that allows Jumpahhh now that experience gap separation.
Look at this, 6-0-4 with 11 kills in total for his team. 10 out of the 11 kills have Jumpahh's stamp of approval on him. Certainly a great look if you're playing specifically a character like Thor. Here comes the Artemis ultimate, and we call that a Barabor.
Is that what we call it? Huh.
The Barabor.
Oh, okay, now I see why. Okay. Yep. I think Checo was thinking that there was going to be more aggression. That range, there's no way that board is hitting from that range.
Well, it's twofold, don't forget. It's twofold. It's also the fact that he's getting CC immunity.
Sure, you're preventing yourself from getting slowed by the Hu Yi Suns, but it was pretty obvious Gino was using that ultimate just to clear the way. He wasn't committed to the kill.
I don't think it was obvious to Checo. This dual lane has been so hot, I think he definitely just expected the gank.
That could have been a case, but now Jumpahhh making his presence felt, allowing Checo to take pot shots at the tier 1 tower, crippling it under 25% health.
Delnyy literally surrounded. And the right side of the map not going so well for Flashpoint. Michael Checo takes care of LingXiaoWho. Gino gets Kraken from the back end, but not in trouble just yet. Ricochet is good out of the mid laner. Basics are strong as well. Aegis is good, but he's wiggling. He's ziggling, and Gino is going to get the kill, but Jumpahhh turns around and puts Gino in the ground. Gnome could be next, but the Thorns will keep Michael Checo at bay. Bad luck 13 on the kill count for Flashpoint as they take care of the tier 1 tower.
In his last dying breath, Panda mid drops the Whirlpool in his feet, cripples Gino that doesn't have purification beads, allows a 1v1 or the 1-4-1 exchange, gives another tier 1 tower to Flashpoint, adding 500 gold for their pockets, almost up 3,000 gold at about 19 minutes. Not gonna write home about this kind of a lead, but it's something you could certainly build off of, with Golfia respawning in a minute 15 seconds.
Yeah, 3,000 gold is where you start to. This is the first couple of steps you take up the staircase, and you know, Zoli, you're a solo laner yourself. We've watched it, and I think this was kind of your style. I mean, no offense by this one, but players like you and Dimmy from Energy lose the lane well, so that your team can succeed elsewhere. That's what Delny's doing right now. He's the bug zapper. Everybody's coming his lane, and he's dying a little bit. But look at what everything else is happening. You've got to be happy in the solo lane.
If my mid is 2 levels ahead of their mid, when it's a race for the late game hyper carry mage, a race for the hunters, certainly so. If I'm buying time to make sure Gnome is not making his presence felt in some of these team fights while Jumpahhh is just utilizing that global pressure, sure. If I give up my life to allow Mango to die to Jumpahhh on the cleanup, absolutely will always make that sacrifice play. So soul laners and supports, for the most part, are usually going to be your utilitarian kind of frontliners looking to set up.
Like, look at this. Delnyy right here, thorns up, just chilling because his team is going to get the Gold Fury. Going to get the Gold Fury. There's no question here because everybody's on the right side of the map. It's a triple beam balance, folks. Revenge are so heavy on the right side that there ain't nothing on the left to really balance it out. Flashpoint pick up the objective. Delnyy doesn't even die there. He's getting to the point where he's really tough to kill. And now you're looking at a wonderful lead.
Needs a little bit more help with a more Guardian Mail to survive the Serqet gank. Delnyy, the focus, yet again in a 1v3, uses that CC immunity too early.
Oh, LingXiao with the hit, gets the kill, won't find any follow-up. Jumpahhh looking for Gino, right into the Suns, has to walk on out. Matt Koiz with the Terra ultimate will be knocked to the sky. And meanwhile, on the right-hand jungle, Panda and Checo chasing down Gnome.
Gnome saying whatever Delnyy can do, I can do better by zoning away both hyper carries, Panda and Michael Checo, with their hands filled, and XuenMushh looking for the setup.
There's a little bit of help. Crush is good, but Aegis again from Panda Man. Only can Aegis once. And Alex Dubs picks up kill number 9 for Revenge.
A 2-for-0 Revenge coming back into the score department, but starting this Pyromancer where XuenMushh doesn't really have much mana, sitting at half health.
I love this call.
As does Gino, but not interested in contesting this with the ultimate from Jumpahhh still available. A little surprising, maybe not having the proper vision.
I love that call. That call for me from Revenge is that's the confidence. That's the play that shows me that they've been behind this entire set. They were behind their entire last set, but they still I know how to play Smite is putting it so lightly, but they still know the basics. They're still doing the fundamentals.
It was a risky call because Jumpahh's ultimate was up. If Jumpahh's ultimate wasn't available, guaranteed free Pyromancer. If there was actual blue vision inside that Pyromancer, Flashpoint, don't do the back camps. There's no time. You have to use that amount of seconds to stop the Pyromancer, but they had no vision, so they didn't make the play. Revenge sneak away an objective.
Teleport to the left side as Michael Checo getting jumped, harassed, and everything in between. Half HP, quickly might turn to 0. There it is. XuenMushh puts a dot on that one. Here comes LingXiao. Too aggressive. Won't be able to find it. Xuen gets knocked up by the Kraken Man. Meanwhile, there's a nice stun onto two different players. Jumpahhh looking strong. Tier 1 tower being defended by Flashpoint.
Gnome zoning away Panda mid and Jumpahhh. Ricochet little off the mark there, but so many low members on the left side. Revenge are scattering away because Delnyy is leading the charge.
What a great defensive set coming out from Flashpoint. And usually I'm saying that on the Phoenixes. Sometimes I'm saying that on the Tier 2. And very rarely, if ever, do we say that about a Tier 1 tower defense. I mean, totally. I mean, I guess the answer to why they chose to defend there is because they could, but
they were looking for the cleanup. There were so many abilities committed onto Michael Checo that they were like, okay, there's no I'm a monster.
Yep.
There's no last breath.
Yep.
Let's look for the cleanup play. Like, they weren't worried about defending the Tier 1 tower. They wanted to turn that 4-on-5 down to a 4-on-4.
Much less about defending the tower and just taking the opportunity to fight. And they got to keep the tower just as sort of a bonus there. Nice look for Flashpoint. Gino going to be able to take care of this one easily as he dings number 18. Going chin side instead of critical strike. And I think that's in anticipation of a tanky Thor. But he's had so much success that we're not seeing that.
Wow.
Instead, just the assassin and taking care of Gino just like that.
Jumpahhh really outplaying. Oh, sorry, Gino getting outplayed by Jumpahhh really heavily there. I like the Mad Guy's cloak pickup because he could continue to spin to win whenever he wants without interruption.
Exactly, and that's the key for me is that sometimes you see these Magi's cloaks to sort of stop the CC that's inevitable, the Najas, the tiers. But more importantly, I love to see it on characters with channel abilities like Thor, like Serqet, so that they don't get interrupted in the middle of their nonsense. A nice look coming out from Jumpahhh. Like you said, I like the choice. The hi-rez Lament, not a normal Thor pick. We'll talk about it in a moment. The Fire Giant's picked up and brought down to 40% already.
Mango getting stunned to the backside, sitting at less than 10%. Kraken comes through. Flashpoint confirmed the first Fire Giant of the game.
Jumpahhh goes up and that Koiz comes down. Here's Jumpahhh on the left-hand side. Zigzagged on top and the wall will be good.
Mango barely escaping that one. Whirlpool to cripple a couple members. No, popping the thorns.
Sloppy.
Baiting away and zoning 4 members. I'm a monster off the mark.
Meanwhile, Flashpoint still pushing forward. Xuen's in trouble. Mango's here on the right-hand side. Gino and LingXiao on the left. Gino slowed. No. Beads is good. 1 shot. 1 kill. 9 kills without a death for Jumpahhh.
Oh, that triple root crush combination. That little corridor doing a lot of damage. Not ripping through anything on that one though. Need to find a defense in the tier 2 tower.
9-0-7. Jumpahhh is totally, unless something crazy happens, Jumpahh's your easy player of the game.
He's
right
looking
now.
for more. Pops the Mad Guy's cloak onto Mango. Forces the Sentinel escape out of LingXiao. But keep in mind, Flashpoint, they're going for a middle Phoenix.
Oh, LingXiao was tasty, won't go for it. Instead, just zones out Mango. Mango pushed by Delnyy. Mango taken care of by Michael Checo. Mid lane Phoenix goes down. Xuen's here, knocks one to the sky. Crush waiting on the bottom, but Xuen stunned out. Gnome on the chase. Flashpoint on the retreat. And this one should be good.
They got what they came for.
Checo's going aggressive.
He wanted more. The Kraken comes through. Mush barely surviving, looking for a dash away. He avoids the wall just narrowly. A quad knockup. I'm a monster. Waiting for it. He lands a double one.
Looking for number 3. Delnyy here. Delnyy going to avoid it, but the double kill coming out from the Scylla. The crush just barely not going to be enough. And Gnome still on the run, pulsing the damage out. Root and boot. Kill number 13 for Revenge. That's a defensive set. The Phoenix does go down, but they bite back and take 3 players with the Phoenix.
There's still some hope for Revenge with plays like that, utilizing LingXiao's ultimate to its fullest. Getting a double kill in 1 hit and the reset. Finding Delnyy a little bit later on could allow them to hold on to their middle Phoenix once it respawns. I don't think they can answer with a middle Phoenix of their own.
Jumpahh's here. up in the sky, lands arguably too aggressive.
It's just a zoning tactic to be able to buy more time. And honestly, I'm surprised Revenge don't go for this tier 2 tower with only 3 members alive.
Gold Fury. I love the Gold Fury call, Totally. I think this is a more valuable opportunity than the tier 2 tower. Get the gold. You're only down 5,000. Get the Gold Fury. Pick yourself back up. Buy some items and fight more efficiently. Totally, I love that call. I love that call from Revenge.
I don't mind it so much. It was very clean. They didn't have to overextend whatsoever, but leaves a little to be desired because Gnome is out of position.
Who's got the shell?
Barely saving his life. Probably Mush.
Was that Xuen?
It's probably
Does Xuen have the shell?
He does, but yeah, it was him.
Yeah, shouts to the shell. Just a heads-up play by the Kumbhakarna, saving his solo laner's life. Unfortunately, still has to go back to base. Tier 2 tower started up by Flashpoint. Jumpahhh in trouble, too deep. That Koiz is going to be providing some help. And Gnome going to be losing his health. Panda mid, number 19.
Trying to make it happen in the backside. Mush knocks up Koiz, but no follow-up. Anvil of Dawn, he goes back in. Jumpahh's a madman, but trying to punish him as Mango will return it in kind.
Worth? I don't know if that's worth it, buddy. Mango went way too deep for 1 kill. Gives Checo the double kill. The basic chases out the beads.
He was anticipating the pull.
Exactly.
A little bit too soon on the mark. And you were talking about the great shell from XuenMushh, but honestly, the great shell from Matt Koiz for that tier 2 tower dive. Jumpahhh went in so deep. My guy is like between tier 2 tower and Phoenix, barely goes back in. He needs the shell, he needs his own Aegis, and still, he barely just like, the soles of his feet gets clipped by I'm a Monster as he's exiting the tower line.
Yep. So close. But close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, folks. This is Smite game. And LingXiaoWho gonna wind up empty-handed there. 5-2-1 though, has had a great game in and of himself. Certainly no slouch here in game number 2. And as we pass that half-hour mark, Revenge clinging to their land, hopes, and dreams. 5,000 gold down. Certainly something they can fight with. This could be the last fight, though, Totally. Looks like Revenge are into it.
They need to do something because they have to worry about the middle Phoenix's health. It's very low on its weakened state. With 2 more Fire Minion waves, they need to worry about the defense of the Fire Giant or the defense of their middle Phoenix. They can't do both.
So if I'm Flashpoint, I'm wasting time. I'm not committing to the Fire Giant. I'm going to waste time to see how far those Fire Minions can make it up the lane and see Revenge has to go back to essentially do their homework. Gino's doing it by himself.
Somebody's got to do it, and with the Odysseus bow being able to splash between some of these minions, not a bad idea to leave the Hui there, and then he could play cleanup crew after the fact. But Flashpoint, a little wasting of the time, not going for this objective.
Now Mango wrapping around the back. This could be huge. There's the Terra ultimate. Jumpahhh lands on top of LingXiao, who pops the ultimate in return. No stun, no ultimate either. No life for the Scylla. Aegis is good on the front side, but not good on the back side. 2 kills for Flashpoint. 1 north, 1 south. Jumpahh's low. Gino brings him down to 0. Xwen's in trouble. Panda mid brings Gino down. Xwen's still in trouble. And that one goes to Delnyy. As soon as this one ends, that's a deicide. That's the game. Flashpoint headed up the middle lane.
Who needs Fire Giant when you got a clean deicide?
Koiz, where are you going?
Going for the minion clear. They need to get some minions to get the title. They don't need minions for the Phoenix, but they do to eliminate this last objective.
25 seconds on Gnome. I called the game. Did I call it too early? Flashpoint rushing into the Titan room. 90%. That's going to be it. Revenge will not get their namesake. And Flashpoint stay alive here at the console LAN. 26-15.
In about 32 minutes of gameplay, Flashpoint, the North American side of things, being able to advance further in the lower bracket, waiting for the outcome between Arrival and their opposition, Astral Authority.
And that man right there handing his control to Delnyy. Yeah, Delnyy, the solo laner, just dealing with everybody's stuff while Jumpahhh takes the spotlight. I gotta give credit to Delnyy. Ugly slash line, but what a game. taking control of the situation by just taking all of the attention from Revenge, letting Jumpahhh and everyone else just play their game.
Who would have thought? Hercules is pretty good. When you get destroyed by the Hercules, you just kind of roll with it. You're like, all right, let me give this guy a shot, see what I can do with it. And he played pretty well, I'd say. He almost got a solo kill. A little unfortunate bounce there on the boulder. Couldn't really make it work out. But for the most part, yeah, just a zoning machine, being able to bully so many members away to the point that the rest of his teammates got all the objectives that they really wanted.
I do want to see more of these Revenge guys. I think they looked good here. I think there were some moments that, you know, these guys are the new kids on the block. They haven't really had much time at LAN, so watching them be able to have some of those performances, have some of those moments, was a nice look. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you're going to play like Jumpahhh did, you deserve the W. And so there it is for Flashpoint.
And honestly, like, if I got to look at MVP individually, Delnyy, Jumpahhh, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the global pressure because of Jumpahh's ability to go so ham, knowing that he has the shell from Mad Koiz, his own Mad Guy's cloak, his defensive relics were timed very well, and his ability to juke out the Ama monsters multiply, to dive LingXiaoWho, making the Scylla basically useless, having to miss so much abilities because of how much pressure was returned onto her.
I'm also in Team Jumpahhh here. Delnyy, again, just I love the way that he was able to impact the game, gracefully lose. But at the end of the day, I mean, this was Jumpahh's game. Jumpahhh shows up, left side, mid side, right side, and he just has complete control over everybody and allows his team to go ahead, grab the bull by the horns, and take the victory 2-0. Let's break it down.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Totally, Finch, and Ryan here as we close out that set. And really, that's going to be it to Revenge, but they get to bow out with their heads held high. A great game from them. They just couldn't quite close it out, but the best performance he's seen from them yet.
Much better, but it all, again, starts by Flashpoint being a little bit too aggressive, pushing for a mid-Phoenix. It might have been a little bit too early for them, and then they came back, but ultimately Flashpoint, just the better team here today. Delnyy at 0-5, but I agree with Tom, did a lot of work during this game. Another great performance from Jumpahhh, man. This is the jungle show so far here at the summer finals.
Yeah, and Jumpahhh in particular, I agree, has really been looking good for them. In this set, you know, a little bit of struggles in that set one, but they were completely forgotten here in this set. I mean, he was the one that kept facilitating for them because, again, this game gets off to a kind of rocky start for Flashpoints a little bit. Revenge able to get some nice early kills on a Checo, I believe, to get this game started off.
Yep.
But, again, Jumpahh comes in and kind of helps right the ship.
But Checo bounced back beautifully. I mean, what, 11 kills and 35,000 damage at the end for him. Look, if you're going to have a bad laning phase as Artemis, but do what Checo did in the late game, sign me up every time. Checo had a really, really good game towards the end. But Jumpahhh, obviously, really the dude who kind of facilitated everything.
Yeah, he really did have a very good game there, Jumpahhh, and he is indeed the one that ends up getting selected as the MVP after a very strong performance here in this game. I think y'all got this one exactly right, Mixer Chat. I mean, just making sure that he keeps everything going for him. And this fight in particular, too, was really important for them. We were able to catch Revenge just a little bit too far committed forward, and Jumpahhh was able to capitalize on it. In the end, Revenge ended up coming out just not quite as strong as they need to be. And Flashpoint going to be moving on to a tough matchup later on.
Yeah, Flashpoint, get out of today, but you know they've got a lot to work on moving forward. You can tell just by the way that they're holding themselves after that game.
Yes.
A little bit of relief for sure. You could see a couple smiles around like, okay, we didn't get eliminated first, but now we've got our work cut out for ourselves because you have to either go up against a very angry rival or a very angry Astral Authority.
Yeah, whichever one of them doesn't quite get the performance that they're looking for is who this Flashpoint team is going to be meeting out. But what they met, or rather they built upon some things I think that could work well for them in this next set, right? It wasn't just that Jumpahhh looked better, but Panda mid looked worlds better to me as well in this Poseidon. Definitely improved, and now I think that he's kind of in that rhythm of playing like we saw him play online. He could be really strong for him in their next set.
So far, I think that the matchups to watch out for the rest of the tournament are just how the mid-jungles match up in a lot of these lanes. I mean, Predators has kind of been the side laner that showed up and been like, yo, I'm here and I'm doing a lot of stuff for you, but overall, I think you can just look at mid-jungle and how they'll compare. In their first matchup with Rival, Jumpahhh and Panda mid got heavily outclassed by Rapio and Fly. If they do get that rematch, that has to change.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look here. We got an interview standing by, or we're going to hear some of the thoughts from Flashpoint.
Flashpoint, congratulations over your victory with Revenge. That was some high-octane gameplay, honestly, between the both of you specifically. Jumpahhh, you were popping off on the Thor. How did that set feel for you?
You know, we already lost a rival earlier, and there was no way I was about to lose on the first day. So I just fully focused up, and I just played comfortable gods.
We saw that individually come out, obviously. I mean, I think no deaths in that last one, maybe one. But as a team, you guys also pushed forward as well. Matt Koiz, I know that historically you've been a leader in your team comms. Is that still the case here on Flashpoint? And talk to me about the feeling of the team coming into this one.
Yeah, the way comms work is just me and Jumpahhh basically kind of just talking and, you know, calling buffs, calling timers and stuff. And, yeah, I mean, our team, you know, losing a rival kind of, it didn't really, like, demoralize us too much because we know what we did wrong. We're going to go back and we're going to rewatch the VODs. We're going to figure out everything. And, you know, whoever we play tomorrow, I'm pretty sure we're ready and ready to rock, so, yeah.
Speaking of tomorrow, it's either Rival or Astral Authority. 1, who do you think is going to take it? And 2, who would you rather take it?
I think Astral's most likely going to win. We scrim Astral. Astral just good players individually. A really good team. I would rather play against Rival. I think Rival played well against us, but like their game 1, they did some cheesy stuff. Game 2, we still played bad. Obviously, they won, but we played way better that game, so I kind of just want to rematch against Rival. And plus, we can send them home and make sure they don't don't win again, so there's that.
Big facts.
I was going to touch on that, you know, the NA-EU rivalry. Is it real?
It is.
It definitely is. I think all of NA is kind of, we're just, after last slam, we're all just, we want our revenge, and we're looking for the vendetta, and we just want to bring it home, so yeah.
I know you guys run on passion. This Flashpoint roster is certainly all about just being up there up front. So glad to see you guys make it to tomorrow. You guys in the finals?
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
For sure, yeah.
Without a doubt.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, guys. Congratulations, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right.